Good morning, dear judges. I'm going to present my paper today on what are the etiological associates of refractive abnormality other than axial length. So if you look at myopia, there's a close relation of scleral rigidity and an important role of scleral biomechanical remodeling in progression of myopia. And corneal biomechanics are closely related to scleral biomechanics. So we studied the assessment of corneal and extraocular tissue stiffness using air puff applanation. This was done using Corvus ST, and we looked at the extraocular deformation or extraocular stiffening parameters with respect to age. What we found was that extraocular tissue was found to be stiffening was found to be increasing with age, and corneal deformation or corneal stiffness was unaffected by age. So this is how we studied. This is how we derived our biomechanical model. We looked at, my video is not playing, sorry. Okay, so what happens is when the air puff strikes the surface of the cornea, there's an applanation of the corneal surface and it slowly returns back to its original state. So when we take only the first 18 seconds, what happens is the cornea goes from the position of T1 to T2 and then returns to a new position called T3. So if you look at this, so what happens is when the cornea returns, if you look at only the apex, it goes from T1 to T2 and then returns to T3. But if you look at the corneal edge, there's also a movement of corneal edge which represents the whole eye movement. So if you subtract this whole eye movement from the Corvus deformation amplitude, what
Dr. Sumita?
Yes, sir?
Yes.
Some connectivity issues. Okay, continue.
Yes, she's back.
Sorry, should I go back to the previous slide?
No, you can continue. Sir.
Okay,
I
so
think it is only a minimal break. You can continue.
Okay. Sure, sir. So this is a biomechanical model, which is an analytical mathematical model. And using this, we could segregate the corneal stiffness, extraocular tissue stiffness, and the extraocular tissue viscosity. So we studied the corneal biomechanical stiffness with respect to refractive error in the pediatric population. We included almost 733 pediatric eyes. And what we found was that corneal stiffness reduces with higher grade of myopia and extraocular stiffness increases with higher grade of myopia. So of course, we established the association with myopia, but can we predict myopia using these parameters? So to study the predictive association of tomographical and biomechanical indices with subjective refractive error using artificial intelligence was our aim. We also tried to look at what can be a most direct marker of myopia apart from axial length. So we included 1,500 eyes in this age group and we divided them into the following groups based on the spherical equivalent. And based on the indices, the corneal biomechanical indices which were obtained from Corvus ST,
there is some connectivity issue, I think.
predictive capacity of these.
Yeah, connectivity issue at Dr. Sumita's end.
Continue.
But ma'am, you can continue, please, as in when you are connected.
Okay, sir, sure. So we basically try to look at all these corneal biomechanical indices from Corvus and corneal tomographical indices from Pentacam. So overall about 88 indices and looked at their prediction value. So all these indices were again combined using AI software. And again, we looked at the predictive capability of this using area under the curve and classification accuracy values. So AUC higher means the predictive capability is better. So overall distribution among the results were as follows with respect to low myopes, moderate myopes, emetropes, and high myopes. And these were the best Corvus indices which could predict the refractive error. And these were the best Pentacam indices which could predict the refractive error. And when we looked at the correlation, this is the actual refractive error.
We're losing connectivity again and again.
I think we've lost her.
No, she's back. Are you back? Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Sumita.
Okay, so this was a correlation with respect to actual refractive error and the predicted refractive error. So actual refractive error was 40.9%, and for emetropes, for low myopes, it was 69.5%. For moderate myopes, it was 28%. And for the area under the curve was 0.71 for Corvus, And if you look at Pentacam, this is how it was: 58%, 65%, 20.9%, and 5% for high myopes. So area under the curve was again 0.71. So if you look at the results, when we combined both the Corvus and Pentacam values, the correlation was much better. This is the actual refractive error and this is the predicted refractive error. You can see that it is increasing to 69% with respect to E-metropes. With respect to low myopes, it's 60%, moderate myopes 38%, and with high myopes 35.9%. And area under the curve was also higher now, and it is 0.75. So to conclude, this study is the first attempt to associate the tomographical and biomechanical indices to myopia, and biomechanical indices could be an additive factor in predicting pediatric myopia, and biomechanical indices could also help in predicting tracking myopia progression. And this is a novel technique that can change the interface of myopia diagnosis. So what we already knew is that corneal stiffness decreases with myopic severity, and tomographical parameters also change significantly with myopic severity. But what our study adds is that biomechanical and tomographical parameters showed high predictability of myopic severity, which became even higher when both the parameters were combined. So these parameters have the potential to predict myopia. And this may explain why children with myopia with several environmental and lifestyle risk factors progress at different rates. So this was the limitation of our study, that the distribution was not equal among all age groups. And in future, this may have an important role in the epidemic of myopia, that it may predict the myopic progression. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sumita.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any questions for her?
So, like she said, no, myopia, actually it's becoming an epidemic. As one of these previous speakers told, by 2050, all over the world, and now at least it's more in the Oriental countries. India is also picking up. So I think a lot of studies on the myopia, and other than the conventional axial length, things like that, no. So more on corneal biomechanics and tomography, they are yet to come up, and that's one of the studies that we heard now. That is a good thing, Sunita. So, any questions to Sunita?
No, I think we can go